Hey guys, this is Jesse Jackson. I'm the owner of Inner Strength Fitness and the host of the Second Half podcast. I'm very happy to bring you the first episode of this podcast. I've been putting off doing this for way too long. I truly believe that I have a lot of thoughts and wisdom and things that can help you if you're willing to give this a listen. So if you're watching this, please give this a subscription or give us a comment if anything in this video really stands out to you. Thank you for your time today. So what I want to do is spend some time talking about why I'm calling this the Second Half podcast, a little bit about my story and inspiration and motivation for working with people 50 plus in age. So let me first start with why I focus on working with people 50 plus in age, why Inner Strength Fitness as its own entity does that. I've been a personal trainer for 15 years, and in that span of time, I've seen a lot. My first gym job here in Texas was at 24 Hour Fitness. I had a wonderful experience working at that big gym. It was a real time of immersing myself into this profession where I was reading every book I could, getting every certification I could get my hands on, asking questions, constantly learning from every client I was so fortunate to work with. And you may not know this, but when we work at the big gyms, we're working with all different kinds of people. I was working with young soccer kids to college athletes to any age, any goal you can think of. And one of the things I noticed literally within 6 months to a year was all the classes at the gym, although they were taught by wonderful instructors, although the classes seemed fun and there was a real following, none of those classes seemed to be a good fit for the majority of people 50 plus in age, especially those who had been deconditioned. They were successful with their finances and their career, but they just had let anything fitness and wellness go to the wayside between career and kids. Totally understandable. But I made a note to that because there was nothing that I could ethically recommend to my one-on-one clients that they should do. So I tried yoga and Pilates. I recommended a lot of my clients do yoga and Pilates, and a lot of them came back saying that even with modifications, even with a great instructor, they still just couldn't do half the movements, or they still had nagging orthopedic limitations. Now, that's not true all the time, but that was a large percentage of people that I worked with that I began to see a pattern. Every class, every exercise video on social media, every program like 75 Hard, if you're familiar with that, it assumed that your joints, your ligaments, your tendons, your strength, your stamina, it assumed fundamentally that you could handle the stress of it. Now, to me, that was a cause for concern because I was working with clients who were very successful, well-intended people. They were paying to work with me as a trainer to kind of help them jumpstart and really reclaim their health and vitality back in their life as they planned for retirement in the next few years. And I really found that there was a gaping hole, not just in the gym I worked at, but everywhere I looked. And before people say Silver Sneakers, I taught Silver Sneakers classes for 2 to 3 years that I worked at that gym. And I could tell you firsthand that as good of a job as I tried to do teaching those classes were only a real good fit for people who were feeble to close to losing their independence. Because people who were not that low in function needed more challenge and needed more personalization than what even a Silver Sneakers class could give them. So I saw a big gaping hole. I saw a need early on, and I decided to make my education and brand myself at that gym as the go-to guy for people with orthopedic challenges, people with aches or pains. I didn't necessarily make it about 50 plus in age, but I saw a need. And the majority of people who wanted that, who were responsive to that, happened to be 50 plus in age. Fast forward to the time where I got called by God to start Inner Strength Fitness. I wasn't sure how to run a business. I just took a risk and I had all the energy of the world. Think of your favorite Chihuahua puppy dog. That was me my first 3 to 5 years of running a business. And I wasn't sure what the business was going to end up being. I just knew I was supposed to start it. So my first 5 years in business was true hard knocks university. Guys, I can't tell you how much it was a massive struggle, but I am so grateful that I struggled financially. I'm so grateful that I struggled emotionally, mentally, because it pruned me, it matured me, it grew me, it taught me lessons that I needed in order for Inner Strength to not only become what it is today, but for the vision that we have long term of what we're going to do with this company and impacting people's lives. So 5 years of the business, we had large group boot camps that we did. We had small groups that we ran. We did one-on-one personal training. And I was just soaking in everything, what was working, what was not working. I had to make a lot of tough decisions here and there. And over time, it became really evident that as a small business without a lot of resources, I couldn't compete with the big gym classes or some of the franchises that had really established themselves and had a group class format. And so I determined I need to focus on more specialized services, which I was ethically able to provide. And I wanted to stand out in our community. I was tired of struggling so much that I was like, okay, God, who needs the service and where is it that I can do the most good? And I kept coming back to working with people 50 plus in age. I had that little bug in my head the whole time, guys. I promise, the whole time. But it took me 5 years of struggle. It took me a lot of heartache. It took me a lot of stress. It took me a lot of 70 to 90-hour work weeks to kind of finally surrender and say, all right, this feels like a risk, but I'm going to go all in on Inner Strength Fitness being an age 50 plus personal training studio. And even though I didn't know how it was going to work out, as soon as I surrendered to that, as soon as I said, I'm going to plant my flagstick here and try to be the best that I can be and we can be for this community, it's like a huge weight lifted off of me. It's like I just had a peace that this is exactly what I was supposed to do. So fast forward 7 years. Of course, we have 2 locations now. We've learned a lot. But that's a little bit about my inspiration and story behind why I wanted to focus on people 50 plus. I saw a need, I saw a problem. To be honest with you, I think that there's people 50 plus in age who may not even know that there's not good options out there for them. And I'm here to change that to the best of my ability in this community. So let's move on to the name of the podcast, the Second Half Podcast. Well, if you're a client here or potentially considering being a client and you're watching this, the Second Half